Hello and welcome to Read the Last Page,
A Yap Session
book club
with your two favorite long-distance best friends.
The book we read this month is The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Chbosky.
And since we finally read the last page, let's talk about it. Hi, B. How are you?
I'm good now that I'm talking to you.
It's been a long time. It's kind of crazy.
For the audience, we have just had like literally a crazy month. And honestly, what's wild is that this book is probably one of the fastest that I've read. One of our one of our
books,
like chosen books, but like I just been waiting to record because we've just been traveling, moving, family, this, that. So apologies for the delay, but we hope you guys have just been like building up the anticipation and excitement.
So true. Yeah, we definitely did also lie because we skipped last week's episode
and that's
4th
fine.
of July. And we were like, see you next week, and now we are definitely taking another week hiatus, but you know what, that's okay. This was maybe our shortest book to date, maybe question mark, that we've had to read. And I mean, I've made this one stretch because I think I started it literally maybe the first day after recording our last episode, and I finished it like Monday night maybe.
Oh wow.
So so it's you know, it's more so fresh on my brain, but like the beginning of it I don't know, but
but in my personal life I'm good. I was just away from New York for a month, like a whole month, and for 3 weeks I was at my like dance intensive that I was the RA at, and it was super fun. It was my third summer doing it, and it was my favorite summer doing it. Because I just like my dancing has improved a lot, and so I just felt really solid and good. And like the first 2 weeks, the two like guest choreographers or like guest teachers, I just like really loved. Like the first week it was this woman, Dilise Crowman, and she's literally Roxy Hart in Chicago on Broadway.
Wait, right now?
Yes.
You're kidding.
Like, well, she had like taken a hiatus from it for a little bit, but she's like coming back for like a couple months.
Wow.
So like I was like starstruck to be meeting like, you know, someone who has like such an accomplished career. And like, do you know who Anne Ranking is? Like,
that sounds really familiar.
Bob Fosse's like one of his like, it's kind of, everyone knows, you know, Fosse and Verdon you hear a lot about, but like Anne Ranking was like his other like woman that was, I don't like, muse isn't the right word, but like did a lot of his work. Was
she, because you watched Fosse and Verdon, the TV show, do you remember if she was played by Margaret Qualley?
That was so long ago, and I don't even know who that actress is.
Okay. Sorry, my bad. I'll look it up. Because I was like, I think I do know who she is. Okay, continue.
But anyways, Dilise was like basically trained under Anne, so like that. I mean, so it's like I'm like 3 steps away from Bob Fosse in a way. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God, that's crazy.
So yeah, that was just like so amazing. And then the second week was a ballet instructor named Kim Sigami, and she was really, really like, she was strict is not the right word, but she wanted everyone to work hard. But she also was kind of silly, you know. So I got to drive her once. I think just once, and like, you know, so I kind of got to chat with her. I also chatted with Dilise one-on-one, so that was really great. And then I spent a week with my family, and I got to see, within the week I saw all of my sisters and all of my nieces and nephews, including getting to go to Texas to meet my youngest nephew, who like I hadn't met him yet. He's only a couple months old. And he was like so adorable, and I held him as much as possible. And his oldest sister, my niece, was like, can I hold him? And I was like, you get to see him every day for the next like 10 years. Like,
true.
I was
Let me have my
please,
moment.
because I literally had like 48 hours. I was like, can I please like be a little bit selfish and keep holding him? And she was like, okay, like that makes sense. Like that's fine. But yeah, so it was really great that I got to make like, the trip was for the job, but I got to, within the same plane ticket, like see all my family. So that was really great. But this was the first time. So every time that I've left New York, I've missed it, just the way I think most people, you miss your own personal bedroom, you miss your routine, even though it's like you're so happy to see your family or be doing whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And so I normally feel that, but this was the first time that I was like, I miss the city. Like, I want to be back in New York. Like, and it's not because I was having a bad time or anything like that, but it was just like, it was more like the city and like the atmosphere. I just was missing, like, I don't know, just Manhattan, like. And then, like, ever since getting back, because I've been back for, like, about a week now. I landed a week ago. It's, like, every time I'm, like, going to, like, the first place, like, going back to my regular places for the first time since it's been a month, I'm like, like, finally, like, I'm back. Like, this is where I'm meant to be. Like, I don't know. It's just, it felt different this time, which maybe it's because it was, like, the longest I was away. But I'm just like, I love the Midwest, and I'm fairly certain I'll be moving back at some point. Like, when I one day hopefully, am getting married and like having kids. I think I don't want to raise kids here. Just because it's like, I liked my childhood in the Midwest. And anyways, whatever. That's not the point. But the point is, like, for now, it's like, I love being here.
Good. Wait, I love that for you.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like, because I always think of people, New Yorkers love their city so much, and it's such a weird type of environment for me personally that I always wonder how people like feel like that they can call like something that chaotic and huge like their home, just because my home is so the opposite. But it's like just hearing you kind of like explain like just like your yearning to be like just back there in the hustle and bustle, like I'm like that feels I get it.
Especially like when I was driving around like the Nebraska, Iowa area, it was just like so like unappealing to the eye. Like I don't know, just so much of what I was driving through was like kind of like warehouse district type stuff. Like it's just like these big buildings that they're like industrial, and it's just like meh, and there's like not that many trees. I was just like, this sounds like so like New Yorker, like cliche, like, but it was so like uninspiring.
No, okay, literally, girl, I get it.
And it's like I feel like where we're from, like Kansas City, I feel like has like some inspiration to it, you know? And even like the suburbs where we're from, like there's like little gems, but like just like where I was for the intensive, which like the dancing and everything was very inspiring, but just like the location, which I'm sure like if I lived somewhere like that, like I know you can find like your little gems everywhere, but I was just like so sick and tired of like driving. Oh my gosh, just like driving through this drab like just like highway lanes crossing over each other, and I was like, what a way. It's like, I know I'm sounding so like, oh, you lived in New York for a year and a half and you're acting like, you were born and raised there, but it's just like, I don't know, it's just like such a waste of space.
No, I get it.
And so like going from being able to just like take the subway and walk everywhere, and everywhere is just like in close proximity to like having to drive 30 minutes just to get some. Oh my gosh.
Exactly. Everyone yearns secretly for a walkable city, and like it's like it only a select few of us get to unfortunately participate in that in America, because for some reason we're so spaced out. No, but like I get it, because so I also saw family last month, and so I sorry, I'm also guys, I'm recovering from a cold, so
tell us how you are. Tell us how you're doing.
Oh yeah, the whole thing. Well, so okay, so I did go to my grandma lives in Newport, Rhode Island, and so I got to go there for about a week, and I was also like having that kind of feeling where it's like I don't think Missouri, because I don't want any Missourians coming for me. I love Missouri, that's why I'm still here. I think Missouri has very pretty parts, but for the most part, specifically where I live, I'm like, it is not like you were saying, it does not strike inspiration. It does not make me feel anything. I'm never awestruck by a lot of the sights I'm seeing out here. And then like going to like a place like Newport, or like I went to like Plymouth for a day with my cousin, and like I'm just like, something about like being near the ocean and like or like seeing like historical architecture, like colonial houses everywhere, like rocky and stony and honestly falling apart roads, like or just like being in these buildings that have like such history. I'm just like, God, it feels so different from like everything we experience in the Midwest, that it's just like so nice to be able to just like have time to like feel those things and experience that and just like really take it in. So like when I was coming back to the Midwest, I was like, I gotta go back to like basically fast food city, like, you know what I mean?
Like everything is a chain.
Yes, I know. That's another thing too. It's like, by the way, my favorite thing about Massachusetts and Rhode Island is like they have so many mom and pop like ice cream shops. Specifically, so it's like every time after a meal I was like, are we getting a sweet treat or like what are we doing? Because like we don't just have the options between like Dairy Queen or like Culver's or something. Like I'm like, we can go to this ice cream shop or we can go to that ice cream shop or whatever. But so that's so nice. But I did spend like a week out there visiting everybody, which was very fun. And then I had a very annoying time getting back. So I was like, before my cousin, the day before I was with my cousins who I love, and I don't know if they watched this. They were kind of talking about my podcast, and I was like, but if you guys are watching, hi, I love you guys. But we were talking about planes and how like one of my cousins had a really bad experience coming back from like, I think, North Carolina, and that's where I was flying to. No, just kidding. I flew from there to get to Providence. And anyway, so she was telling me about her bad experience that she had, and I was like, I've actually never really had a bad like experience trying to get a flight. And I was like, that's
shouldn't have said it.
I jinxed myself so bad. So I woke up the next morning, my mom was like, our flight got delayed already. We weren't supposed to, like, it wasn't supposed to be until the afternoon. We were supposed to fly to Philadelphia. And she was like, already, we got delayed. They're thinking about changing our flight to like DC. And I was like, okay, just keep me updated. So throughout the day, we got changed from like Philadelphia to DC, from DC to North Carolina. And then eventually we were supposed to take off at like 8. There's essentially, if you guys, you probably don't know because like who cares about this one day throughout the whole year. But there was a huge storm up the whole entire East Coast. So they said over the intercom that it was from, I think they were like saying like almost Florida, maybe all the way up to Nova Scotia. So like the whole East Coast, and like we had to get out of the East Coast, and so we'd have to go through a lot of storms. So we got to the airport in Providence, and we were sitting on the plane on the runway about to take off for like an hour because they were like, we just need to get permission to take off. And so we're just waiting and waiting and waiting.
Having to just sit in the plane, that's terrible.
It was really bad, and everyone around me was like very, very upset. I've never had like a plane be like that mad before. Yeah. Like everyone was like, start giving us drinks, like literally like yelling at the flight attendants. And I was like, couldn't be me. Actually, because I was frustrated too, but I was like, couldn't be me making a scene about it. Of course, it was all the men on the plane, but like whatever. Anyway, but so eventually they're like, we have to deplane because you know, like we were there for an hour. We're like, we're not going to make you guys sit on this plane. So we were all kind of in the airport. My mom's like, I guess I'll figure out what else we should do. Which thank God, because if it was me by myself, I'd be like, what do I do?
And so did you have to like get your carry-ons off too?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So everything had to be off. Our bags were already checked too. But so my mom was talking to the people who worked at the airline, and they're like, well, we can switch you to a completely different airplane if you want to get on that, because they were like, this flight's probably going to get canceled, and you're probably, and our connecting flight was already canceled. So
oh gosh.
So they were like, you can go ahead and go, like, we switched to Delta, and they're like, there's gonna be a flight at 6 a.m. And so my mom was like, oh my god, it was already 10 p.m. and she was like, well, by the time we get back to like grandma's house, we're gonna get maybe 2 hours of sleep, and then we're gonna have to come all the way back. And I was like, okay. So like, I don't want to do that. So we just slept in the airport, and that was like the worst thing that I hated that. That was so
yeah, I've had to do that too.
I could not sleep at all. So I just like stayed up, and it was like, you know, there's obviously no food. So I was like basically like just like feeling horrible. Yeah. And anyway, but we ended up switching our flights. We got on a flight at 6 a.m., had to go all the way to Atlanta, which is the most insane airport ever. It's like the busiest airport probably in America, maybe. I don't know. It's a very busy airport. So my mom and I got like 30 minutes max of sleep on the flight. And then it was me and my mom trying to navigate the Atlanta airport. Like, they have a little tram that like you go on, and it like an underground subway to get from one point of the airport to the other. Oh, that's how big it is. And so we were like trying to figure that out. Oh, like, my gosh. Like, should we get food? I wasn't feeling well because I was just like so hungry and like tired.
I'm so tired, yeah.
It was horrible. And then we finally get on our plane to KC. We get to KC. We're like, cool, life's great. Let's just like get out of here. We can't find our car in the parking lot, which is fun. And then when we find our car's dead. No. Because it's been sitting in the heat, in the Missouri heat for a week. And so we have to flag someone down to jumpstart my car. And then I drive, which by the way, I've actually never driven to or from the Kansas City airport before. And so like I drove us back, and I was like, my mom was not having a fun time. Yeah. Because I was like, sorry, I'm going off of 2 hours of sleep, trying my best to figure out how to
Yikes.
Yeah. And anyway, so then we got a drink at the closest restaurant, and then I already missed a day of work. I was supposed to be back that day, but I messaged my boss, said I'll come back tomorrow. And then I came back to work for that one Thursday, had 4th of July off. That night had the worst tickle in my throat, and I was like, this is bad. I fear that something's happening. And then I came down with like the plague for like a weekend. I just had a really, really bad cold, and it's been a week, and I've got the symptoms going still. So
that's you probably got sick from like the stress your body went through, like trying to get home. you know.
So my thing is, I'm like truly like a lack of sleep, not eating anything, and then also being with like packed in with so many people. I'm like, of course I got sick. My thing that I'm like so upset about is I'm just like, if we were just able to get from Philadelphia to KC on that first flight, I probably would have never gotten. I wouldn't have encountered whoever got me sick.
True.
My body wouldn't have been already at its lowest point. So, you know, it's always tough to like just like get back from like a stressful traveling day to like then get, you know, completely. I was just very angry. Like, I got really mad that weekend because I was like, and now my 4th of July weekend's ruined.
I was on a plane on 4th
you
of July.
were.
So maybe we can put a video on the Patreon. I took like a video of like the fireworks from up in the sky. It was cool.
Whoa.
I meant to post it on my Instagram story. I just never did. But I'll send it to you so we can post it for the listeners, because it was pretty cool.
That's sweet.
Mm-hmm. Like, sweet. You know, because I was basically over New York City once it got dark. And it's like I could just see, because we were way above, and it was just like little sparkles everywhere. It was so cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wait, I love that.
Yeah. So I still got a little
4th of July
like
magic.
4th of July celebration kind of.
Yeah. That's
some
good.
festivities from up in the sky.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, sweet. Well, yeah, it's so funny that we were like low-key, like, I kept thinking, because I was like, I should text you and see if you're going to be in KCI. At the same time, I was going to be in KCI.
Oh, yeah.
It was like our paths, like, almost crossed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was... Well, but actually, I flew out of Texas. I was originally going to fly out of Kansas City.
Uh-huh.
But then when my mom was like, oh, we could road trip down to Texas and swap the kids around and whatnot. So I actually flew out of Texas. But
well, worth it.
Yeah, and it was like it was totally fine, but I was kind of nervous because it's like my first time in that airport ever, and I was like alone, you know. But I've navigated the airport, like the Kansas City and New York airport, enough times that I feel like I understand how to just navigate an airport. So
it's just like once you get past TSA, it's just like,
Yeah.
all right, let me just roam around until I figure out where my gate is.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So should we talk about this book?
I guess so. Sorry, that was a very long intro. I hope that kept your guys' attention.
It's like our little mini yap since we
haven't seen each other in literally a month.
Yeah.
Guys. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as we said, we read Perks of Being a Wallflower. This is like a coming of age classic. And fun fact, this is the oldest book I had on my want to read shelf on Goodreads. I put it as want to read when I first started my account in 2015. So this was the first book I marked, and it's been taking me 10 years to read.
Really? Wow. Yeah. I kind of love that.
I know. I've always wanted to do it, and I've kind of been like gatekeeping it from me. Like I'm like, I only want to do it if it's a special occasion.
Yeah.
And like this feels special.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always been on my mind to read also, and I watched the movie a few years ago.
Yeah.
And so I was always like, oh yeah, and I should read the book too. But it's just one of those things that's like, yeah, it's just been on like my mental TBR, but I just had yet to get around to it. So I finally did.
Perfect. All right. Well, do you want to give a summary, or do you want me to give a summary?
Maybe you should, because I finished this book like
a long time
over
ago,
like probably 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So
I'll give like a very short and sweet one, but because I feel like a lot of people probably know the gist. But
yeah.
So this Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. This book is about a 15-year-old, I believe, boy named Charlie who is starting his freshman year of high school, and he is writing all of these letters to this unknown person who he's just addressing as friend. So every letter begins, "Dear friend," and he's kind of writing these letters about what his freshman year of high school is like. And, you know, he's kind of this not very sociable kid. He's kind of, you know, awkward. He's a typical wallflower, as the title suggests. And so it's about the friends he makes and the memories he gains, and like, you know, his family life. And he has this very, very beautiful and important relationship with his teacher, his English teacher, who is like helping him kind of like, he sees that spark and intelligence in him and helps him like really flourish in just like what he exceeds best at, which I guess would be reading and writing in just English. So I don't know. I think it's just I think this has to be maybe like one of the core originators of like the coming of age genre as we know it today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very much just like a little weird book in and of itself, and it really cements itself, I think, in the culture as being a very important book for teenagers, young adults, people who are just unsure of themselves, to really connect to and find some comfort in. So yeah, I think that's my summary. Do you have anything to add, Laura?
No, I mean, I think that's good. Yeah,
Okay.
It's kind of, I feel like this is one of those books that's like, I mean, there's definitely a plot, but it's more like, it's more the characters. So
for sure,
there's not much more to say besides like, it's just, you know, it's him
about Charlie
navigating his life. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, and if you guys like it, it's a very popular movie too, which like I'm sure plenty of people know. So, but it's like, you know, like Logan Lerman, Emma Watson, like core 2010s images are coming to my brain. What's that one quote that's like, in that moment I swear we were infinite. Yeah. So that's from that
did numbers on Tumblr.
Okay, that quote, and then there was also one that was like, we accept the love we think we deserve.
Yeah.
And that one, which honestly, I'll be honest, that quote was like huge at a time where I did not understand it, and so I spent a lot of my life not really getting that quote, and then maybe when I was like 19, 20, I was like, whoa. And so like I was like this came to me way too late, but I'm like, that's so beautiful.
If we want to do like kind of non-spoiler discussion or whatever, I'm curious what you thought of the format of the book, because it's a little bit different since it's all in letter format. I really liked it. I feel like it lends itself to how do I say this? It was a useful sort of narrative style because I feel that Charlie is a little bit of an unreliable narrator, and so it makes sense like that, like since we're reading his letters, it's going to be very Charlie's point of view biased, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that I think that contributed to the plot, if that makes sense. So I liked it, and I just liked that it was like, I feel like it was very endearing. Charlie just was very endearing. And like, and also like some things were just like so awkward to read because it's awkward for him. I think of this like, I feel like there was stuff in Donuts and Other Proclamations of Love that was like, it's like awkward to read, but it's like, it's because it's teenagers being awkward, you know? And I felt like that with this book. Like some of it I was like, okay, like sure, yeah, but it's like, but that's because like that's really what 15-year-olds are thinking and trying to figure out and trying to understand. And so I feel like if it would have been more like third person point of view, like those sort of like intimate thoughts that he's having would have been like, wouldn't really have had the right context for us to just like see into his brain, I guess. But since it's him writing his thoughts, you know, I think about me journaling, and it actually, this book, I was like, you know what, this book is teaching me that I need to be more honest in my journaling. You know me and my journaling.
Right.
Oh, we have a complicated, you know, partnership. But I was like, I just loved the you'll like this because I always say this to you. I liked the way Charlie wrote with great abandon. You know, it didn't matter. He was honest, even if he didn't know himself fully or what he was thinking fully. He was honest and earnest in trying to write what he felt was true, you know?
Yeah.
So I really liked it.
Yeah, 100%. I when I was reading this, I was like, I wonder how big of an impact the specific formatting was at the time, because I mean, I read a lot of books at this point, I think, that are like strictly letter format. But like this one, I feel like probably was just like such a huge just like divergence from what probably a lot of teenagers were reading at the time.
Like a new choice.
Yeah, for sure. I really loved it. I think because you know, my favorite part about reading is just really getting connected and close to like all the characters. Like I love character stories, and so this felt so like juicy because I was like, yes, I'm like inside of his head. And like one thing about me that I like to tell people is like, I know, like, you know how like a lot of people are like so nosy that they're like, I would love to like just like go through someone's room. Like the thing I would do if I could like just like sneakily do anything in anyone's business is like, I would love to read every single person in the world's diary. Like, I just want to know what everyone is thinking and how they're living their lives and like what secrets we have, etc. And this is like genuinely like reading Charlie's diary, which is so interesting because he's like, you know, talking to a person. It's not a diary, it's a letter. But like you said, he's just so completely honest and vulnerable and earnest, and just the way he's telling his story.
Yeah.
Which I love. I love that it doesn't feel, I thought that it was going to feel like we were missing a lot. Because again, I had seen the movie. And so like in the movie, you obviously can't just have a boy, Charlie, just writing letters the entire movie and have that be the plot. Like it has to be like this ongoing day by day kind of story. And so for that, you have to connect the days in between all these letters that he's writing with additional scenes or whatever. So when I was reading this, I was like, I feel like I'm missing so many key moments because they probably aren't going to feel as monumental and as like, I don't know, just like descriptive as as like the image that I see in my head, like from the film, because it's just Charlie relaying everything. But yet I didn't, like, I was like, oh, it's just like this completely different thing. Like it's like in the moments that I'm not actually physically in the scene with these people and instead just hearing Charlie recount everything, like it's like I love just the way that Charlie writes, and I love knowing that we're getting a completely different perspective from what I did or saw in the movie, which again is just like we're getting internal dialogue from Charlie when like 24/7 the entire time we're reading this. So I don't know, I love that. And I also liked, and I thought this was very smart, because the beginning, Charlie and his punctuation and just the way he like forms sentences is not very developed and is kind of, you know, it's not polished yet. But then the more he works with his teacher Bill, and the better he gets at you know, like grammar and just like reading and like knowing how to like tell a story, he like it really like transforms throughout the book. And I just like love that small detail. Like I really love that you can feel, it just feels so authentic that this is a 15-year-old boy who's like writing these letters. Like it's not like a 35-year-old man at his computer like pretending to be a boy. Like it didn't feel anything like that. It felt so genuine. Which I loved.
Again, on the note of like genuine, I feel like sometimes when books are written, hit my mic, books are written like in letter format or like just like in a different style, like journaling, like that sort of thing, it can be hard for it to like be natural, because you do have to have enough plot context for the reader. But then sometimes like I feel like it's like I'm like, okay, but the kid wouldn't be writing this in his letter, or the person wouldn't be writing this in their journal. You know what I mean? Like it's just like too descriptive to the point where it's like nobody, I mean, I'm sure there's people that do, but like that's just like not really how people, not that there's one way to write in a journal, right? But you get what I'm saying? Like I can just tell that the author felt they needed to input this to like give enough context. And I don't think I ever felt like that while reading this book. Like I never once was like pulled out of what I was reading because it was feeling clunky or like something like that. Like it all seemed like real things that like a young teenager would like actually be writing in a letter, you know, like it felt natural and genuine.
To me, I was like, there's also, it's so impressive to me that Stephen Chbosky as an author was able to be so authentic to a teenage boy's experience, have like all these really beautifully written letters and lines and moments in this book, while also being able to like craft just a really beautiful story. I just feel like there's so much going on in this that like I'm like so much that he had to do that he just did right, that made this book feel like a very easy, lovely, gorgeous read. So I was like such a fan the entire time. I thought it was incredibly well done. And and Charlie, I can't even get into Charlie actually. I love him so bad actually. And it's so interesting because, like, first of all, thank God I did not get my hands on this when I was 13, because, like, bro, the way I would have savior complexed myself so far, like, I don't know, like, but like, it's also just so interesting. It's just like there's so much about him that is so relatable if you're looking in retrospect at your high school years as someone like us in our 20s, and even like now, it's like I think about flubs that I've had in like my friendships or at work or like in my family within the last year or so, and like the feelings that I felt were so similar to things that like Charlie was experiencing and like saying that he felt, and I was like, it's so true. Like, he's such a important encapsulation of the teenage experience and feeling very lost and confused and lonely, but then also like just the human experience and how the fact that, like, you know, when you're younger, these are the experience that are going to kind of roadmap almost the rest of your life, and like the way like you develop now is very important to the way you're going to, for the most part, I don't know, maybe this is too grand and not sweeping of a statement, but like for the most part, I think a lot of the things that I like, a lot of the traits I developed as a teenager are still with me, and probably I'm going to carry with me for the rest of my life. So it's like, he's a very good, just, I think, incredible depiction of just why these years are very important, informative, and just, it's nice to be kind to yourself, because like when you see it in Charlie, you're just like, I want him to be okay so bad.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and if you guys read The Outsiders, we've been needing Charlie and Ponyboy to
oh my god,
have a heart to heart.
God, Charlie and Ponyboy, two of my favorite little teens out there. Truly,
love them both.
Yeah. Wow.
Shall we go into like spoiler land?
I think so. So if you guys haven't read this book and want to, go read it.
Just highly recommend.
Yeah, I'm assuming too we're going to be talking a bit about the movie too in the spoiler section, maybe just like brief moments. So if you don't want the movie at all spoiled, another warning. But yeah, thanks. We'll see you soon. Okay, let's get into it.
Let me look at I have all these notes, but I put little emojis by the ones that I think are most important.
I started my notes off so beautifully, and I was like, wow, I'm going to really get into it. You know why? Because I listened to our Six of Crows episode, and I was like, ooh, the fact that this was our first episode, and like I feel like we were both coming in swinging like with really good takes, and I was like, I have to be very diligent with my notes again, because like I really loved the way I was speaking in those two episodes. And so I started that, and then it went out the window. Yeah. But you know what? We'll work with it. You go first.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, first note that I have highlighted that I want to bring up, because it's a text to text connection.
Oh yeah, of course.
So this is a text to text to Crying in H Mart.
Ooh.
On page 25, okay, so I was borrowing my book from someone, and so I had to give it back, so I don't have the book with me. Oh, okay. But I guess on page 25,
do you want me to look?
No, there's enough context here, but like, someone tells Charlie, I think maybe one of his parents, I don't know, or his sibling says, don't say someone's your whole world.
I have this underlined.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And this made me think about in Crying in H Mart, Michelle's mom says to always save 10% of yourself.
Yes.
You know, like, don't let... It's not quite the same, but I don't know, it just immediately reminded me of, like, you know, don't let someone else be your whole world or have, like, everything of you right away, you know, like... Yeah. I don't know. It just made me think of that,
So... In this book, Perks, the person who says that, and the reason why I underlined it was because I found it really impactful, but his mom says that. And
then that makes sense.
Yeah, and so he says, my mom chooses her battles carefully, and I can tell you one thing about my family. When my mom does say something, she always gets her way, and this time was no exception. My sister stopped crying immediately. And it's such an important mother-daughter moment there. And it's such an important mother-daughter moment in Crying in H Mart. And it's just like, and I think for it, like, you know, it's definitely used in different ways, but you know, I just feel like there is just like that connection with like mothers and daughters, and like maybe the way like I don't know how to say this well. I think there's just like a fragility that I think a lot of women maybe have. I don't know. I like there's a thing that like I think women have that like this is so like probably too not real or right, but like whatever. I'm just gonna say it. But like I think like men, I think sometimes can lack a sensitivity chip that women have. Yeah. And so it's like there's such a crucial importance, and it's seen in this book because Charlie's sister is abused a bit by her boyfriend. Mm-hmm. And that's what that whole conversation is really about. Like her dad is really saying like, you cannot see this man anymore. And it's not until her mom really tells her that mm-hmm. from her own experience of being abused by her father that like you cannot put yourself in these situations where like you can let yourself be harmed by a man. It's actually important as a woman to like protect the sensitive pieces of you that mm-hmm. can lead into something like that. Mm-hmm. And I mean, now I think we're in a very different place than we were in the 90s, and then also where we were in like the 60s when her mom was probably experiencing these things. But it's like, I just feel like it's such an important conversation that so many mothers and daughters do have, where it's just like, you know, you wouldn't expect his mom, who's like very like gentle and soft spoken, to be like so incredibly like, you can stern, like you have to be your own, like you mm-hmm. like this is one thing you have to do, you have to be your own person, you cannot fall into any traps like this. Mm-hmm. I just found it to be like a very impactful moment. And I don't know, I loved that. I loved the way that like it, like that specific topic I think was handled in this book. Because it was always through Charlie, who like didn't fully get it, but like he was like just very blunt about it all. And so like as a reader though, you're really able to read between the lines of like everything that's happening. And like I found it to be a really interesting way to like have that conversation. Anyway.
Well, along with that, like through Charlie's perspective and him not always getting it, something else that kind of struck me, and I wrote page 161. This is what I wrote: the kiss and letting him talk. Charlie is very passive out of compassion, but perhaps to a fault. So I think this is when Patrick is like in the car and he's like really upset about, it's like one of those times that he's like going with Patrick all the time to this stuff, and then Patrick gets really upset and Charlie like lets him cry and lets Patrick like kiss him. And later Charlie he says to somebody like, well, I just did it like because he was my friend and he needed me. And it's like Charlie is very compassionate, but like a lot of times in a passive way, you know, he's just there, but he's not really. And it's like he doesn't know this as a 15-year-old, and we can see this as like in our like mid-20s, like that's not the best way to help Patrick. No. But it's not, you know, that's okay that he doesn't really know that. But yeah, I feel like there's like a lot of situations where it's like Charlie knows something is wrong, or he knows something is important is happening, but he doesn't really know what to make out of that. So he's just kind of there, and he listens and lets things happen. Yep. But yeah, I just found that scenes, I guess, like in the car and stuff, to be such an interesting, just like thing for him to go through, because it's like he was doing it out of compassion for his friend, but like, you know, there was probably a better way to be helping Patrick, but you know, he was just doing what he thought, you know, was good. I don't know.
Well, so like there's that leads right into like that conversation that Charlie has with Sam at the end of the book. Remember where Sam's like, why did you never ask me out? And he was like, well, I didn't want you to feel like pressured. Like I wanted you just to heal from your relationship with Craig. And she was like, you don't get to decide that though for me. Like it's like you're such a passive force or figure in your own life. That like it creates a lot of confusion and like people end up getting upset and it's never your intention, but it seems to be what happens quite a bit sometimes. And I thought that conversation was just so interesting. It felt like, other than like the whole Mary Elizabeth moment at the party, where the first time where he was almost like shaken awake a bit, or not even shaken, but like I just think it's like given like a very hard truth about the way he goes through life, and it's like I don't know, I think that like that's a perfect sort of place to like almost leave us before we get into the whole ending of the book and kind of like what Charlie ends up having to go through, because like you cannot be a passive figure in your life when you're trying to unpack trauma like that, you know what I mean? So it's like I think that passive state was almost like this layer of protection for him to like not touch anything inside of his brain, like any traumatic memories that he didn't want to you know, see the light of day. So,
and that's his teacher is also always telling him, hey, participate more in life, you know?
Right.
So that really was like almost like the thesis project of
that, honestly,
you know,
was. That's kind of like sorry. That's honestly like the almost I would say thesis statement of the book in a way.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing was like about Charlie becoming an active participant in his life, which is like, ooh, what an evergreen concept for me personally, because like truly I just feel like it's so easy. And I know this is something that a lot of people in Gen Z face too, which is just like so easy to get like so caught up in like the monotonous day in day out routine that you have, that it's like, yeah, I don't have to like do this thing on the weekend, like I'd rather just like stay inside or like something like that. But it's like consistently or it's like oh, I can go to a party, but I can just like sit and talk to like my friend the whole night
and be the wallflower.
Yeah, be the wallflower, exactly. And it's just like no, like it's like you have to make sure that you're making active decisions every day to live your life to the fullest and do what you want to do, because then at the end of your life with 70 years behind you, you're gonna feel like, what did I accomplish? And it's just, it's so easy when you're young to, I think, just like settle into that very like dull routine, but like what are you gonna have to show for it by the time you're 45 and sad and lonely? That's what I tell myself.
And also, and we can cut this out if you don't want it in the pod.
Oh my god, what are you gonna say?
But
you're gonna give me a hard truth? I'm scared.
A second ago, before you said like, you know, it applied to my own life, I was gonna say like, oh, I could almost see this as like maybe like a like a lesson for you.
For me, to like be an active
because like, well, I think Charlie sometimes is, and I'm not saying you're passive, that's not what I'm saying, but Charlie is sometimes like passive out of compassion for his friends and family and the people around him. And I was thinking that's like, you know, he's trying to be a people pleaser, and he wants to make sure that the people around him are happy, their friendships are safe, no one's like getting upset, the peace is kept. And I was just thinking, but Sam at the end telling him like what you were saying when she said like, well, you don't get to decide that for me, and like basically the signals he was giving are confusing, and like the people in your life want to hear what you have to say, and they want to know your opinion. So I was just thinking like, oh, like that kind of made me think of Daniel. Like, we want to know, like we want to know.
That is so funny. And you know what's crazy is when I read that specific part, I remember on the plane, and I remember when that happened, I was like, I was like, it kind of like ruffled some feathers for me at first, where I was like, Sam needs to be a little more compassionate for Charlie. Like, he's going through a lot. He's just trying to be a nice guy. But then I was like, wait, it's like we never ever get Sam's perspective. We never know how much she actually feels hurt by Charlie's actions.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I was like, oh, I'm falling into the, oh, I'm allowed to play victim here because I relate to Charlie in this situation. So it's like, hey, everyone needs to be nice to Charlie, aka nice to me about this, because this is something I do. But you're right. It is true. And this is something I'm learning in life, that I can't be a people pleaser, and that people would rather. One of the craziest things that I learned growing up, and I still need to figure out how to properly, practice this in day-to-day life. And I do think Charlie also probably is like has the same thought process as me on this. But like the idea that like people would actually rather hear when I'm upset with them than let me like stew in it on my own.
Yes.
it's like yeah, and then if we fix the problem together, then we could be in a much more healthy and happy place.
Imagine that.
Me, like, to me, I'm like, it's not computing. But it's true. This is what I mean when I say like this book is like, yes, this is a story about a teenager, but like,
yeah,
I was relating. I was feeling this.
I clocked myself too. There's a part where I wrote down, Laura, you should reread that and remind yourself you don't want to be text to selfing too hard. Because I think it was when Mary Elizabeth, is that her name?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Charlie's like, I don't understand why she wants me to like all of her stuff, like, and like he said something like, I think she would give someone a record and want to hear from you, like, oh, I'm so glad you gave me this and that you liked this music and it's so good. And he was like, I would just give someone a record that I thought they would love, as opposed to like something that she loves and she wants to make the other person love it with her.
Mm-hmm. Is that something that you related to?
I don't know. I feel like in some of my relationships, it's like, I'm like, oh, well, I know that this thing is really good. Maybe not so much with like media, but like, just like, well, almost like how I used to be kind of bad about like always needing to be right. It's just like, like, well, if I really like this or I think this is a good idea, like, well, you should think that too. Like that sort of thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I related to Mary Elizabeth a little bit, and maybe not the good qualities.
So this is so interesting to me because you did text me this, and it was before I really had gotten very far into the book. So throughout the book, I was like, every Mary Elizabeth scene, I was like, how does this, like, how do I feel like Laura and her coalesce? And I honestly, I'll be so honest, I could not see it really. Like, I was
but you've never dated me, so
here's the thing too, and it's like, and I don't obviously live inside your brain, so I'm like, I'm really wondering what parts of her you were seeing in yourself.
Yeah,
I would say you to me are much more of a Sam figure.
Oh.
So to me,
wait, I'm flattered.
Yeah, if I were to be Charlie, you'd be my Sam in a way.
That's so us.
But I want to know about you and Mary Elizabeth.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like she was very concerned with her life and what she wanted, Yeah. And like while Charlie did not always voice what he wanted, so maybe he gave a mixed signal, and that's not really Mary Elizabeth's fault. I feel like maybe she could have done a little more time investigating what the other person wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe she could have stopped thinking about what she wanted to do and what her favorite music was, and like taking a little more time to ask. Like, that's the other thing is Charlie was like, oh, like, she never asked me a question.
Right.
Something
just
like
talks.
that.
Yeah.
And like, like I'm a talker, and like the people that are close to me in my life know I really like to talk, and something that I've worked on is being better about asking. Because I'm just the type of person where I don't need someone to ask me a question. I will offer up information. No one, like, I don't need to be prompted usually.
Yeah.
And so it took me a while to realize, like, not everybody's like that, and some people need a question to prompt them, to make them feel like, oh, they're interested, and they want to hear what I have to say. Whereas I just, like, am like, well, everyone thinks I'm interesting.
That is so fun. Okay, because like 100% I fall on the side of Charlie. Where, like, it's like, if no one asked me a question, I probably wouldn't speak. So it's like, but like Mary Elizabeth is like somebody who, like, I think she likes to talk and she likes her ideas, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's like, it is interesting. Like, she's just so young, you know? So it's like she doesn't have like that emotional kind of intelligence yet to know that she has to stop and make sure other people are also participating in this relationship.
Right.
Found it so interesting, like specifically that thing that you're talking about with Mary Elizabeth. One thing, and I think maybe this was the point, I don't know. And maybe it's just kind of trying to show like this unicorn value that like Charlie has, but like Charlie is such an emotionally intelligent kid in the way that like he is very good at like he observing people and like understanding what do they like the best, like what's gonna be the best gift for them, like what's gonna be the best thing for them in this situation or in this moment, or like what support can I give or whatever. And he's a very sweet friend, and I think he understands all of his friends very well, or at least to the best of his ability.
Right.
And I felt, and it has to be because, you know, we're only getting it from Charlie's perspective, or maybe it's because this is a very young friend group and there's a lot going on in this book. But like, Mary Elizabeth is a great example of like those people who like Charlie as a concept but don't understand him as a person. Yeah. And it kept frustrating me in this book because I was like, Charlie like is giving so much love and like support and just like a listening ear and a shoulder to cry on, and is being like just like a really good friend. And very rarely did I ever feel or see it reflected back to like on him. There were some moments, like it's like I think some of the better moments are like between like him and Patrick at sometimes, and him and Sam, which is why like they're the core friend group. But like that's why it's like I think every time they were upset with him, I was like, do you guys even know him as a person, as to even like think about why he did this? Yeah. The Mary Elizabeth whole fiasco was one thing that like bugged me, even though I understand why everyone reacted the way they did. And again, it is like Charlie is what's the word unreliable narrator. Oh, I was like, for once I couldn't bring it out for you. No, because I gave you no context. So because Charlie's an unreliable narrator, we only get to see like the parts in which like he shines best in ways, and I do think he's very honest in the ways when he doesn't shine best, but it's like we never get to see Sam and Patrick's point of view, and so obviously Sam's very hurt by the whole thing. But like the entire time I was like, if anyone understood Charlie as a friend and as a character and as a person, you would get why he did not see fault in the things that he was doing. But I don't think anyone was asking him questions about his relationship with Mary Elizabeth. I don't think anyone was really fully unpacking the situation outside of their own anger and hurt and confusion. And that bugged me. Because that whole time when he was like sad and depressed, I was like, people need to be checking on him.
Like, that I did not like how I understood, like, hey, like, maybe give the friend group some space while this cools off. But I feel like it went on a little long for no one to, like, be reaching out to him.
Yeah. And I was like, especially Patrick. Patrick, like, it's like Sam and Mary Elizabeth, I do get. Especially Mary Elizabeth. That's totally fine. Like, girl, you take your space. Right. But, like, I'm like, Patrick, like, you need to be there for Charlie. Yeah. I don't know.
For sure.
So, I don't know. But I think that is kind of like a lot of the point of it. You know, it's just like Charlie isn't as active of a participant, I think, in the friend group as like the other friends are to him in a way, I guess. I don't know. So it's like that would make sense in the whole conversation that Sam has with him about how he needs to not be so passive and like actually tell people what's going on and how he's feeling, so that way they get a better sense of him and not trying to like pry it out of him. But unfortunately, it's like he did not know that that was something he had to do ever. And it's because he's just a special person. Like, and they like him because he's special. So I'm like, they should have. I wished they were able to kind of work some things out. Before it got messy in the Mary Elizabeth fight part of the book. But it's okay,
because I feel like sometimes the friends treated him almost like, I don't know if this is a weird word, but like a pet, like, oh, that's our little Charlie, you know. And then like, but it's like, well, you know, he's an equal friend to everybody, you know, like he's your equal, he's your peer, you know. But it's kind of like, oh, you know, that's little Charlie, we'll just tug him along to any old thing. And then, but like not like, I guess fully see him the same way.
100%. And it's like he definitely gives the vibes of like baby of the friend group. Which is like, I'm always ask any of my friends, like I'm consistently the baby of the friend group, and it's just because I never know what's going on, and so they're like, where's Danielle? like make sure Danielle's like following the trail. Which is it's a fun dynamic to have, because you have, I think I have a very like, I don't know, I think I like, because of that, you're able to have very fun relationships with everybody in your friend group. But then it gets to the point too where sometimes you have to assert yourself. You're like, let's also just be clear, we are all the same age.
Right.
Like, and I have the emotional capacity and maturity to like handle walking outside at night by myself without someone making sure that I'm tagging along. Like, so, you know, it is a part of like that whole, like, when you're in that when you're in friend groups and dynamics, it's so easy for everybody to kind of like get in their specific roles,
like take on a role.
But it's like, and Charlie doesn't also have the advantage in the fact that he's like a freshman and they're all seniors and older than him, and so that also is tough. But it is true, like I think and like, sorry, now that I'm thinking about it too, because like there, you know, there's obviously that scene where like him and Sam, like she gives him his first kiss because he tells her that he's never kissed a girl before, and she's like, well, I just want to do this, but you want to make sure that you have a good experience your first time. And like reading it, I just like, I recognize it as a sweet moment, but I'm like, something about it just feels, for me, I was like, I don't know how I'm feeling about it all. And
it's like, if Charlie would have said, you know, I'm nervous about my first kiss, like I want someone that I trust, like, can you, you know, will you do this for me? Then that's like, but her being older and like deciding, well, because she says you don't get to decide that for me, and then she's just deciding, oh, you need help with your first kiss, so here I come. You know, it's like, well,
well, and then it's also like, and then in the end too, they have their very romantic moment, which is like very like consensual, and like they both want to, like, I think they both like, well, Charlie obviously likes Sam, and I believe Sam has some romantic feelings for Charlie. But like, even that point, it's like, I'm never like, that relationship's so interesting to me. It's never a relationship I ever really root for. I'm just like, I want Charlie to be happy, and I like their friendship, so I'm like, okay, if that's what is happening, sure. But like, it does rub me somewhat the wrong way at points, and I think it has to be because Charlie never feels on equal ground with them, and it is because of age, and it's also because, like you said, they treat him a bit like, they babyify him, they treat him almost like a pet of sorts. He never feels like he's on the same level as like Patrick and Sam, and like, I can't remember any of the other people's names, but Bob maybe like any of those people. And so I don't know, but I think that's like, it's all supposed to be, I think it's all, that's the point. Because it's like I also do in high school remember being in really interesting, odd 1-year friendships with people.
Yeah.
Who, like, in like the dynamics were just a little weird because I was younger, and like, or like whatever was the drama was just dramaing for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And it's just like, then you look back and you're like, yeah, that was just such an interesting time, and I learned a lot, and it was very formative. And it wasn't supposed to be the perfect lifelong friendship that follows going to college and life, you know? Like,
reminds me of Wendy and Dipper from Gravity Falls.
Wait, actually, that's so true. I can see that.
I love, you know. But yeah, just like that, they're at the age where it's like freshman to senior in high school is a very large,
for sure,
maturity, like, that's just like a big gap. And so I also was like a little bit like, I don't like, weirded out is like a little too like aggressive to say, but like it was sort of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like I would have been completely fine if this stayed one-sided.
Yeah.
But like I understand the point of also not having it stay one-sided. Like I get that the scene, I get why the scene happened. I'm not upset that the scene happened.
Right.
It does at points feel kind of odd. But
yeah, but I think the good part about it being like, you know, his first sort of encounter being with like Sam is because it brings up the trauma of his aunt. Like, I think that it's a better it shows, how do I say this, because he was comfortable with Sam and liked her and had a really good friendship with her, it's like we can trust that there was nothing bad about whatever was going on between Sam and Charlie. Whereas like if Charlie just like met a random girl that he hadn't known for very long and like that encounter brought up the memories, then I feel like we as the reader might be like, oh, well, is it because there was something wrong in that situation that triggered the thought? But I think with Sam, we see that it's just like, this was almost like as like not necessarily like loving, but as like neutral and like non-confrontational and I feel like it was the least scary situation he could have been in to like have his first like sexual encounter, you know, like, and so for it to be a safe place and it bring up something traumatic, I think was like more, it shows how deep down that trauma was buried for him, because it was someone being very like kind and close to him brought up something bad. So it's like that it must have been, you know, does that make sense what I'm saying? Yes, like 100%. It wasn't something bad that brought it up, it was something good and safe, I guess, that brought it up.
100%. And it's also like you know, because it was a very like consensual kind of a nice moment for a bit for Charlie. It kind of, again, like back to like the whole like being a participant in your life and not passive conversation we were having. Like it finally, like he was taking initiative and like getting out of his comfort zone and like pushing past his like boundaries that, you know, the walls that he put up that he didn't even realize he was putting up. And because of that, then he was able to, you know, open up older wounds and kind of unpack then the trauma that he had from being sexually assaulted. It just, I think it's like, it had to, like, the scene is important because it had to lead into him figuring out what he was burying. Which sorry, you can
wait, okay.
Because I was gonna move on into like a completely different topic a bit, so if you wanted to keep
mine's a little bit related to like the Aunt Helen situation.
Yes, okay.
I noticed that, like, I feel like at the beginning of the book we were hearing a lot about, oh, and I miss my Aunt Helen and we used to have fun and we did this. And then there was a long stretch of the book where we just like didn't hear about her. He just like wasn't thinking about her, wasn't bringing it up.
Yep.
And I didn't notice it until she was brought up again. And I was like, wait, we haven't heard about her in a while. And having already watched the movie, like I knew what the situation was with Aunt Helen. And so like I remember when I started the book thinking like, oh, I wonder how I'm gonna read all this, having kind of already knowing like the plot twist, you could say. And even then, even though I was like on alert kind of for Aunt Helen, we just like don't hear about her for so long. But then she just comes up again, and out of nowhere, it felt to me out of nowhere, and I was like, wait, I feel like I've read 50 pages and haven't like even been thinking about her. So I thought that was also really interesting, that it's like as his friendships were getting stronger, I feel like that he wasn't maybe dwelling on what good relationship he had with his aunt, and like it wasn't as relevant in his life anymore until it was, you know?
Right. Yeah, that's such a good point. I think this book gets into such a almost flow.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's like not even, because I obviously, also having seen the movie, started this book understanding why Charlie was depressed and like kind of a little bit reclusive. Because I'm like, okay, yes, this is a traumatized kid. And he doesn't realize that he's suffering from really intense PTSD. And also, you know, it's there are a lot of traumatic things have happened to him. You know, it's like his best friend died, and then also his Aunt Helen died, and like you think enough about those two deaths is probably enough to impact a child,
right?
So that makes sense for why he's not feeling like himself or feeling kind of sad. But then you kind of like get into like this swing of things where it's like I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm just like reading about like this boy, and like sometimes he has moments where he's like feeling kind of different than everybody else, but like that's just what it means to come of age and, you know, be a young guy who's sensitive. But it's like, and then it's like he'd get into like these depressive episodes, and it would remind you that you're like, oh yeah, this is all leading up to something. And having seen the movie, I knew where it was going to go, but I was like, how is this book going to handle that? But like I would consistently forget, because I was so focused on just like his relationships with Patrick and Sam and his sister and his brother, and like I was not thinking about why his emotions were so up and down, irregular. And then it's like you get to the end, and I was so intrigued with how like this played out, because, and again, the film and the book are two very different things. Like it's a very great adaptation, but it's just a very different story in some parts, and this is kind of, I think, the biggest difference. But like the whole kind of like last maybe 20 minutes or so of the film, I think, is like this big catalyst for Charlie figuring out that he was like molested as a child, and like he's been burying that, and like no one in his family knew about it, and like because of that, like he's having a lot of very depressing episodes, and it's like this really, really huge moment in the movie, and then in the book it's just so interesting, because it's like we can't ever get away from Charlie, so we can only ever hear the story as he's writing the letters, and so it really just like ends with him like having this really sad entry, and like he's just like saying like, I hope you have a very nice life, because I really think you deserve it. I really do. I hope you do too. Okay, then, goodbye. Like, love, Charlie. And then you're like, what? And then we go into the epilogue, and then the epilogue is explaining how he's been in the hospital, and everything's unpacked really quickly in the epilogue.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so interesting that like Stephen Chbosky kind of like left it to be like a very like that's just the closing note, and it's like it's not dwelled on for a long time, but it answers all the questions that you might have had, or like really like ties a lot of these, you know, stories or characters up in an interesting way. And I just feel like I liked that, because it didn't feel like that was supposed to be I'm going to use a word that you used earlier, but I don't think it's like the wrong term to use. So I don't want you to feel like I'm like contradicting you or something. Okay. But like, I don't think it's like supposed to feel like a plot twist in a way, but like, or like this huge grand reveal. But like, it is just supposed to be like, oh, wow. Like, it's supposed to be like a whole new perspective on the story that you're reading.
Yeah.
And I found that to be really smart and like a great way to kind of talk about something as like complicated and like emotional as like the trauma that you have from being like sexually assaulted. And I just feel like it's like, yes, this is not the point, because that's not Charlie's story as a whole. The story is the fact that he is a bright young boy with so much potential and love to give, and he's got these great friends and like a family who loves him and all this stuff. And it's like, at the end of the day, like, everyone goes through such hard stuff, but this book is telling you that you're not alone and you're going to get through it. I just loved that. I thought that was great. And at first I was like, well, I'm kind of like, when I saw we only had an epilogue, I was like, well, I'm kind of disappointed that we're going to wrap this up very quickly, but it feels very right.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I don't feel like I wanted any more than what we got.
Yeah.
So,
love.
Yeah, I liked it. I also like, too, that we never get to find out who the friend is.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, because I'm also like, who else do you know, Charlie? Like, I thought we met all of your friends.
Yeah, I know. So I was curious at some point. I was like, wait, am I supposed to be able to like deduce and figure out who it is? But I was like, no, I think it's just not. I don't think so.
Yeah, because it's like, we're the friend. So it's like it's us. Like, he's writing to us.
Along with what you were saying, like, kind of about the epilogue and the resolution, and I feel like his family, I just really liked the family dynamic, honestly, in this book. And I feel like at the ending, like, the way that his family handled it, I thought was like realistic and healthy in a lot of ways, but not, maybe not like picture perfect, but like realistic, you know. And I feel like that through a lot of the book. Like, I feel like there were just good realistic depictions of like his siblings and his parents, and also some of the extended family. Like, you know, I remember he was talking about like at the Christmas or Thanksgiving, like being annoyed with like his grandpa or his uncle or something, like, you know. But it's like, you know, everybody has that family member probably that it's like, oh, they're gonna like say something, you know. And like you know, kind of, I liked that we saw the siblings kind of go through some troubling things too. And it wasn't just like Charlie having a hard time, but his siblings too, from his perspective, of course. And I don't know, I think like sibling dynamics can be hard to write, and I feel like a lot of times like book main characters might not have siblings or only have one. And as someone who has 4 siblings, like, that's just like so not my experience, and not that I have to read books that are only my experience, but I like when I really appreciate when there's like multiple siblings and it's realistic to me, and it feels like, even if, you know, I don't have a brother, but I could like relate and empathize with, you know, their Charlie and his brother's like dynamic, and, you know, he's the cool older brother, and he's, you know, I don't know, I just thought, and like the little moments of like him and his sister kind of like holding secrets for each other, but like they, you know, which like if my family's listening, I don't have any secrets. True. No, but like but just like knowing that your sibling has your back, and like maybe not everything needs to go to mom and dad if it's not like, you know, you're not putting yourself in danger. It's just like, hey, like, by the way. You know, I don't know. I just appreciated the way that they're all written, and I could tell Charlie had a lot of love and respect for his parents, and he also was kind of like, oh, and sometimes, you know, the way his parents handled things maybe wasn't like picture perfect again, but it's like they were never like cruel to him, you know, and he I just remember isn't there one part where he's like saying like he loves and appreciates his mom so much, like I don't know, I just loved that it wasn't like
I loved his mom.
Yeah, me too. Like I just liked that also, that they weren't like angel parents, but Charlie knew that everything they were doing was like out of love for him and his siblings, and so he had a lot of love and respect for them. I don't know, I just enjoyed reading that perspective.
There's a scene where, you know, like I think they're in the store and they're trying to figure out what to get Charlie, his mom, and his sister are trying to figure out what to get their dad. And Charlie's like very caught up in his gift, and he's very in his own head and feeling very anxious about it. And his mom's giving him like the most support. And she's like, I'm sure he's going to love this. And then he tells her the story that he knows he's told her like 1,000 times before, but she listens with so much enthusiasm. And like, I'm like, that's such a great mom moment. And just like, it shows us just how much care and compassion she gives to Charlie. I think she's one of the few people in the book who actually understands who Charlie is as a person, and like wants to give him all the love and attention that like she knows that he needs. And then also at the same time, it's like we have the sister, and she's like, we need to get out of the store. I'm like, you need to control Charlie, because like we have to do this. Like we cannot just sit and like worry about if this golf club is going to be the good gift for dad or something. But I also do love his relationship with his sister, where it's like having an older sister, and I say it with peace and love to my older sister. And I'm an older sister, so like I can also say this. We're a little mean. We're just a little mean and a little coarse and direct, and if you know, our patience is thin. And so it's like so much of what he was hearing from his older sister, I was like, that is so me and Michaela at times. And and I say it with peace and love, but then it's like, you know, I love the way that the sister's written, because she's very much her own person, who's also very like, she's struggling with her own problems. And you see sometimes, I think when she's like very stressed and confused, she takes it out on the people around her, like her dad or Charlie or whatever. But then it's like at the end when like Charlie's in the hospital, and like she's going to college, and she's like, they have that real intimate moment where she's like, I'm really scared to go to college, but I don't want to tell anybody that I need the support too, because I think you deserve all the support. And Charlie was like, why would you not think you also deserve support? Like I would be scared if I was going to college. And he's like, there's so much support to go around. And I just think like that's such a beautiful, it's such an older sibling thing too, where she feels that protectiveness, where she's like, I need to make sure that Charlie's okay before I can put my feelings first. And it's like one of those things that it's like, you think you maybe don't see throughout the book, but then like in the little moments you do end up seeing it. Like when she finds out that he smokes, like she has that real like, you should not be smoking, big sister moment. And I think that's very realistic, where it's like they fight but she's also she has a lot of love and care for him. She does want, you know, what's best for him, and looks out for his best interest, even if she's not always saying it or saying it so nicely. Exactly. Just such a good book. I really liked it.
Me too.
We've been, and not to brag, but we've been really like picking really good books this year. I think this is our third book we've done that I've given 5 stars to.
Oh really? Wow. What were the other 2?
I gave 5 stars to Crying in H Mart. And there was another one we read that I need to remember, because all of a sudden I cannot remember.
That's okay. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, it's okay. I'm pulling up Goodreads, so we're going to figure it out.
The way that I like did all my stuff in one of those, not Goodreads, but like a different app thing, and then I was I was gonna switch it to Goodreads, and I was gonna really, and that was like in December, and like I have not opened it again.
That's me. I believe I gave 5 stars to The Outsiders.
Oh, okay, nice.
So, yeah.
So that's like back to. No, we read something else in there.
We read House in the Cerulean Sea and Sunrise on the Reaping. In between those two,
those ones were so good too.
I know, and like both of those were like high ratings still.
Yeah,
like the only book I don't think I liked that we picked this year was Soul Machine Game.
Yeah.
And with peace and love to that book, truly.
Yeah,
just wasn't for us. That's okay. But I think we've done really good so far at picking books. I'm very happy.
Yeah, it's been a good year, and we're like halfway through. So
yes.
So should we reveal?
The book for next month.
Yeah,
and I wish I had it on me. So everybody, close your eyes and imagine what you think this cover looks like. Okay, do you want to do the real reveal?
You say it, because I'm afraid I'm gonna mess up the title. I don't remember 100%.
Okay, so for the month of July, I guess, yeah, we're gonna be reading The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. Woo!
Queen.
Our queen. Hey, I don't think either one of us actually knows what the plot of this book is actually. So that's, but we love her, so we'd follow her Bardugo into any corner.
And I'm gonna go meet her in 2 days.
Yeah, that's actually, I'm so excited. You're literally gonna come back with such a fun story.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited to hear.
My reading, my other reading bestie, Heidi, invited me. We're taking the Long Island Railroad for 3 hours. But yeah, she's like having a talk, and it's for the release of her new paperback, like the paperback release of this book. So I'm fingers crossed I'll be able to buy one. I'm assuming I will be able to buy one and have her sign it. So yeah, so I'm excited about that. So yeah, I was like, wait, should we just like do that book as our next book club? So that's what we're doing.
I'm so excited.
I think this is our first time that we're rereading an author on the podcast.
Wait,
which technically we kind of already did, because we did Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, but like that was all in one, kind of. Right. You know what I mean?
Well, so like because we've also read like authors that we've already read, like The Hunger Games, but like we've yet to have like a book episode, like
repeated author on the pod. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
So that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. Because also Jared Reck, he was our
Jared Reck.
That was our second time reading him. Of course. But yeah, so hopefully the Leigh Bardugo stands will rise with us. And maybe if we have like more listeners now than we did at the beginning, it'll be a good, like, hey, if you like this book, don't forget we already reviewed her amazing duology.
Yeah, and I will, like I said earlier, I re-listened to both of those episodes like a month or two back. They were good. I was like, I was listening, and I was like, I'm so scared that I'm gonna cringe the entire time listening to this. And I was like, wait, low-key, maybe some of our best work, actually. Yeah. Isn't that insane? We had such a good conversation.
Well, it helped because we'd already read the book, so we could. Yeah. It was our second time. Well, your third time, maybe.
Yeah, I think my third time.
So we were like deep diving into those, but
yeah, it was just fun because we both came on and we were so excited.
Yeah,
and like it's just like our excitement was so like it was very cute. I loved it.
Well, and it's good because like the production quality maybe wasn't all there, but like
maybe you did have COVID. You like were sniffing the whole time, and I was like, "Oh my god, Laura's COVID." She's so funny. But that's okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, Perks of Being a Wallflower, A+. A+
from us.
Yeah. Good book. Hope you guys enjoyed it too. If you just read it, or if you read it like in your teenage years and you came just to listen to two 26-year-olds talk about it.
Yap about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed. If you haven't read it in a while, honestly, I would say give it a reread because short book, and I think I got a lot from it just by being an adult.
Yeah.
And like being able to read it from that perspective.
I agree. I love a good younger book at an older age.
Yeah, truly.
It's just so nice.
I have to read into where this, because I know that like the quote unquote young adult genre didn't really exist until like, I think what really, catapulted that was Twilight. But this obviously came out like 10 years before Twilight. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I want to read into kind of like what this was like.
Yeah.
This was released,
who was
like
the...
like
how was it marketed?
How rare this was. Yeah. What this ultimately maybe did for the young adult genre. Like, I don't know. I would love to see more into that.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Any last thoughts?
My last thought is I miss you, and I'm happy that we got to see each
too.
other after a month of not talking.
Yeah. So by the way, part of the thing was we were going to have this episode ready 2 weeks ago because we were supposed to get to record in person, but just
life got in the way.
Yeah, we were both like traveling, family, like it was just so crazy. So we were supposed to, we thought we were going to see each other this summer, because last time we saw each other was March, I think. But I do have tickets to go home in November over Thanksgiving. Right. So we next hangout is on, it's on the books. So we can make it. We can make it.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, everybody, thanks for listening to Read the Last Page. Our music and illustrations were created by the amazing Sage Timothy.
If you don't know our schedule yet, we host a book club episode on every first Friday of the month. So for next month, we will be reading The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. That episode will be out on the first Friday of August, so be sure to pick up a copy and read it by then if you want to discuss it with us.
You can listen to us on your podcast platform of choice, or if you'd rather watch your podcast, you can find us on YouTube at Read the Last Page, and you can find us on TikTok, Instagram, Patreon, and Discord. Someone come yap with me on the Discord. I just be posting a few things and like crickets.
I should go. Okay, I'll be on there. Don't worry.
Okay, for now though, we want to say bye from B
and Dan.
Bye.